Hey guys, how's it going? I know we do a lot of videos that are fun and upbeat, and often I like to keep the channel that way, but today unfortunately we have to do, I think, a real look at something that is important, something that we need to look at, something that I think is important to all of us. Why do people hate XRP? Why hate XRP? So much XRP hate out here. Honestly, when I first came into crypto, I remember, being aware of crypto before there was other coins, and then, I remember the first Bitcoin fork, Bitcoin Cash. I remember my friend; he's a huge Bitcoin Cash fan. Why hate XRP? Roll the intro. And roll this thing. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a fiduciary, and I'm not offering financial advice. I'm looking at information and reviewing it with you. Also, before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button and click that like button to show support to our channel, and click that bell to get notifications for whenever I post videos next. Alright, now before I launch into a long story, we had to get those out of the way. Basically, here's the deal. Most people in the crypto community very much against XRP. Lots of XRP hate. Today I want to examine the XRP hate and their argument, and then at the end I want to talk more about what we suggested in the last video, the idea of launching smart contracts on top of XRP with Codius that potentially are centralized bank digital currencies. So that's what we're going to look at. And why hate XRP? Like, why do people hate XRP so much is the first part one of this episode. Of today's Ripple episode, part one. Rip, hurrah. Why I hate XRP. 7 months ago, written on Steemit. We have a couple articles we're going to cover, and then we're going to defud them, I suppose. No, definitely, that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Today, I want to continue my glorious blog journey and talk about another crap coin. That's right, he's calling XRP a crap coin. Now that I have your anger and rage going, here's a quick statement. It made me a lot of money, and for that I love Ripple, but it has an infinite supply, apparently, so what's the whole point? If I want to print coins off the shelf, I can stick with paper currency. Just look at the amount of coins there are out there. The number is just insane. On the other hand, it's a great real-world example that shows how messed up our flimsy papers are. Here's a quick pic of my cat to get your mood in order. Do not upset the cat. Alright. I'm a dog person. Hilarious. This guy's a real funny guy. Couple of days ago, I talked to my peers and I said, yo, you should skip Ripple. And of course, as always, right after that, it skyrocketed. Fun fact, no matter what I say, do the opposite and you'll be rich. Okay, thanks for telling us that now. Cut to the end, skip to the end. The reason he doesn't like XRP is he says, it has an infinite supply. Infinite supply. To infinity and beyond. Best friend! It's only meant to interchange between banks, and therefore should have a steady value, oh snap. So, he's wrong about both those things. He's definitely wrong. It doesn't have an infinite supply. We understand that. They have the escrow up. You can just go look at Ripple's escrow. On Ripple.com, here's an explanation of their escrow release. You can look at it if you want. So you can go see all that on their site. They have all that up. You can go look at the escrow, and you can go look at the release dates, etc., etc. Now, that's pretty much done. We defudded that one. Rip, hurrah, why I hate XRP. It has really no... Here's the funny thing, too. Like, we all know that if you're thinking about this as an investment vehicle, you don't use emotions anyway, right? So it's already risky to love a coin, right? To love a coin is already risky. You're already kind of like using your emotional attachment to coins and thinking like, I love this coin, I'm gonna hold it and love it. That's already debatable if you should be loving coins. Why hate anything? Like, that's the freedom of choice. Like, that's the beauty of choice in the market. Like, you can pick whatever coin you want. Go do your own research. look at some blockchain technology, tell me you understand blockchain tech, talk to me about why your blockchain you're picking is going to be better than mine or this one or someone else's. I don't have my own. So like, but in reality, learn about it, do your own research, and then make a choice. You know, like that's about it. Why hate you? Spending time hating a coin is the biggest waste of time anyone could ever have, right? Obviously, the only thing this guy's trying to do is dissuade people from being interested in XRP, and that's the real puzzling thing. Like this falls into a weird like control device discussion where like people basically want to try to control you with their manipulative tactics, like trying to tell you they hate something to get you to hate it. You know, honestly, not really my favorite thing to discuss in the first place. Like, why would you hate an inanimate thing at all? It really says more about you, Eric Plays, than it does about XRP. But keeping that in mind, let's move on to article number 2 about the reasons Reza Jafari hates himself for owning XRP. At least this guy's honest, right? Like, he's not trying to hate XRP. He at least knows he hates himself. That's funny. That's really, let's read it. That's quality. Ripple's not an actual digital currency. Actually, it is a digital currency. XRP and the XRP ledger's inseparable. The XRP is completely 100% true, 100% a true cryptocurrency. It has its own validator nodes, unique node lists. It can again be forked. All the things that make it a cryptocurrency. It's not attached to Ripple at all. RippleNet does use XRP in its X Rapid system, but that's because they built it because they need to use it and they want to use it. So again, looking at it is a digital currency. Ripple is centralized as it can be. Ripple's not centralized at all. Hey guy, you can't call it Ripple anymore, remember? We're calling it XRP now. Blockchain technology as a revolutionary tool, it was basically built, like they built a really nice ship and they basically launched it from their port in a sense, like they own the port they launched it from, and they were like, okay, hope, you know, like they taught everyone how to run the ship and they sent it out into the ocean. They're launching it basically, sending it out to the ocean and saying like, here's how you keep it, here's how you upkeep it. And you know, anyone can launch a validator and can be approved to be placed on the UNL, the unique node list. And you know, that's pretty much the way it was built and run for its safety and integrity as they finished it, because Ripple 1.0 just got launched like a month or two ago. So in reality, they did have a lot of control over a lot of the nodes as they built it. But again, looking at teaching people how to run nodes and letting them be on the unique node list, or even letting people pick their own nodes. Let's say that you run a validator, basically you can pick who you trust, and that's really revolutionary in the revolution of consensus and trustless systems. There can be different levels of trust inside, or not, maybe not different levels of trust, but you can choose who you trust inside the node list. And so different networks have different trust nodes in a sense, and that's honestly really compelling stuff. But Ripple is not centralized. It's not controlled by any one authority. They don't have control over it. If they were to issue a code update and you know the majority of the nodes decided not to issue it and they decided to move in a different direction, that'd be their prerogative to do so. Again, we would, you know, it'd be to hopefully the benefit of the system, and that's why a trustless revolution in governance and consensus is interesting to look at these things as they're developed. So Ripple controls a staggering amount of its own supply. Well, this is true. Ripple Labs does have 55 billion XRP tokens in escrow. And honestly, the reason why they have those in escrow is because basically Ripple controlling a staggering amount of the XRP lets them not only gift it to universities and not only make and create charities to work with Bill Gates and other huge names in the space like Ashton Kutcher and Ellen DeGeneres. Aside from that, it also allows them to replicate the inflationary quality of fiat, which is incentivizing nation states and governments to take notice of XRP and the control levers they have. Now here, I want to address something I talked about in the last video. We made XRP really big announcement. There's no announcement at all other than the idea that I'm speculating smart contracts on Codius will be used on XRP to launch centralized digital currencies. And that might be confusing to people. People are like, whoa, 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 you said centralized. Why the would I want that? Beep. beep. So, why would you want that? You probably don't. You probably don't want that. The thing is nobody cares what you want. Nobody cares what you want. Honestly, I don't even care what you want. You could type the meanest, hateful comment in the world about what you want on my channel.
I can't tell if you're joking with your calculations or if you're just an absolute idiot. Why would we need $23.5 trillion market cap for 589 to happen? Today's news was XRP's not even a true cryptocurrency.
I don't give a flying about it. You know what I mean? Nobody does. Nobody cares about what you want. What they care about is what they want. And guess what they want? Control of your money. So here's the plan. I've said this in the past video, but I didn't really explain it too much. People are like, you said centralized digital currency. I don't like that. Well, nobody cares what you like.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The big, the wealthy, the real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. They're irrelevant. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big all the big media companies. So they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking.
They want control. When you're like, well, how would they do that? You can't freeze XRP. You cannot freeze XRP. Like, XRP is a digital asset cryptocurrency, true cryptocurrency ledger, right? You cannot freeze XRP. But Bancor is a ERC20 token launched on Ethereum. Bancor is a smart contract. Basically, all those ERC20 tokens, pretty much if you go look at the CoinMarketCap, like almost every token for a long time other than Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and Stellar and Cardano, almost all those other tokens were ERC20 tokens. A lot of these were ERC20 tokens, which means that they were smart contracts on Ethereum. Now, what does that mean? Like, EOS was an ERC20 forever. Tron was an ERC20 forever until they launched their own actual standalone blockchain, right? So I'm trying to explain this stuff to you guys all the time. And if you go watch any of my videos, there's layers of this all piled in there. But the Ethereum is a protocol network. It allows people to launch smart contracts. So EOS and Tron, they were an ERC20 token powered by Ethereum smart contracts until they launched their own mainnet. Now, launching your own mainnet and maintaining a blockchain structure is pretty, very time intensive. Launching your own blockchain, the production, the creation, research, Q&A, R&D, launch, production, it's very time intensive. So what would be easier than that is taking the ERC20 route, right? Like, they could just launch a token on Ethereum, just like Bancor. Bancor launched an ERC20 token. It's a digital asset exchange, but they have their own token. They built a freeze function into their smart contract, right? They built in a freeze function. You could build in whatever function you want. You could build in some reverse, maybe like reverse control, freeze, all kinds of things you could build in on the smart contract layer that take place just inside that smart contract that don't happen on the XRP ledger, but the XRP ledger as a protocol token gives them access to do that. Just like how Ethereum as a protocol token gives people in the ERC20 world access to create these ERC20 tokens and the smart contracts. So when I said that last video, XRP big announcement, Fed, IMF, centralized digital currencies, I didn't really talk very much about how you could use that. How would they use that? Well, basically, they're probably refining the smart contracts needed to launch a centralized digital currency. And the reason they're refining the contracts is because, unlike Ethereum, where you can launch a contract and then change it later, Codius, you need to launch the contract. It has to be just right. It has to be just right. So you've noticed that there's a few months of a phase between, they basically just brought Codius back. People are launching Codius hosts. We did a how-to video for launching a Codius host. There's a bunch of memory, about 2 terabytes of memory now for the Codius hosts. The Bitcoin blockchain is only 180 gigabytes of memory. And we're saying, basically, we're looking at, why do people hate XRP? I think because they've been told to. I think that there's like possibly a narrative, a hidden PR narrative, kind of like this morning, and we talked about in the live stream, the idea that they use PR spies in a sense to like sway the narrative about a coin. I think that they want XRP to be hated right now. I think XRP hate is intentional in the crypto space because crypto people are so anti-bankers anyway. Some of it might be OG hate, some of it might be original hate. But in reality, why would you hate any token, right? You wouldn't hate a token. You don't take time to hate a token. You just turn your attention to the token you think you like. You're like, oh, I like Neo. Here we go. Like that's about how it goes, right? So the possibility that some of this hate is fabricated, like a false flag hate against XRP, because really, when they refine the smart contracts enough, and once they know they have them just how they want, where they can freeze funds and reverse funds, I think that we're going to start seeing centralized digital currencies launched with Codius, but powered by XRP, right? Powered on XRP in a sense. It's all about education. We've talked about that before. We just got to educate people. Let's try not to hate. Let's just not hate, okay? No more hate, guys. And that's about it. That's all we're going to do. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Click that like button. Give me a thumbs up. Cheers. I appreciate your support. And tell me how you're feeling about this XRP hate train. Where did the hate come from? Where'd it go? As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great day until I see you next time.
Brought to you by your team.